Yo, what's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Phase 1 of the MCU. That's right, I just finally watched it for the first time. There's a lot to get into, so let's just hop right into it. I will say the most in-depth version of this video is just going to be the Avengers analysis at the end, so feel free to skip to the end of the video and just cut all the bullshit in between. Iron Man 1. I mean, this is the best Iron Man movie. RDJ, Robert Downey Jr., he hits this shit off right off the bat. Great performance. Joe Rogan, let me know what you think, bro.
So many, how many fucking Spider-Mans have there been? How many Hulks have there been?
Yep.
There's only one Iron Man, though. You got that.
Thus far. What year is it?
Get the fuck out of here. You're Iron Man, man. It's just like there's certain dudes just own a role. And if anybody else tried to be Iron Man, we'd be like, nah.
Well, we were also introduced to S.H.I.E.L.D. and met Agent Coulson, who then later dies in Avengers. We also get this extremely badass scene where Robert Downey Jr. blows some shit up right behind him.
For your consideration, the Jericho.
This movie is also the same movie where we learn Tony Stark can adapt to almost anything. We see this in the scene where he's climbing up in height and his suit freezes. Later on in the movie, Tony uses this to his advantage while fighting Obadiah to climb up in height and watch Obadiah's suit freeze from under him.
You had a great idea, Tony, but my suit is more advanced in every way.
How'd you solve the icing problem?
Icing problem.
On to Edward Norton in The Incredible Hulk. Honestly, this movie is so overhated. This movie is actually not that bad. I gave it a 3 stars on Letterboxd. The average rating was a 2.4, which I find fucking horrendous. Seriously, this movie was not that bad. Edward Norton is a great Bruce Banner. To be honest, I like Mark Ruffalo better as the Hulk, but as far as Bruce Banner goes, I did not mind Edward Norton at all. Overall, there's some decent scenes, but like I said, I really prefer Edward Norton's Bruce Banner. This is the reason he'll never get a sequel, and he left Marvel, and now Mark Ruffalo's jackass plays him. I think it's just extremely overhated. I like the concept of his heart rate causing the Hulk rather than just pure anger, because as we see in some of the Avengers movies, Mark Ruffalo kind of has a little bit of a problem. Moving on to Iron Man 2. This is the movie that Elon Musk has his little cameo. Pretty nice, right? Elon Man, pretty cool. This is before he became super famous, but, Elon Musk is literally Iron Man in real life, if you think about it. Can we please talk about Natasha Romanoff in this? Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. Wow. I mean, shit, man. Woo! She's like a complete fucking smoke show. Look at her, that ginger, bro. Oh my gosh. I mean, as a kid, you see this and you're like, oh, that's what a woman can be? My God. I gotta conquer Earth. There's no way I'm gonna pull that. Honestly, one of the main downsides of this movie is that it has really weak villains. Whiplash, didn't really have, any character to him. I couldn't really find any, reasoning to side with him, which normally, with some villains, you can, definitely see where they're coming from, but with Whiplash, it just wasn't there. Not to mention, Tony is supposed to be, this highly coveted super genius that really is, the only kind of person who can make these suits and make them work. And then this Hammer guy can just make a whole army of these suits. It just didn't really make sense to me. Tony's supposed to be this one-of-a-kind super genius, yet they're mass-producing these suits that are actually putting up a challenge to Tony in War Machine. All that being said, Iron Man 2 has one of the best openings with the court scene. It really shows Tony's smart-assery, how witty he can be, how quick acting he can be. And here's some clips to prove my point.
Where we left off, Mr. Stark, please.
Yes, dear.
Can I have your attention?
Absolutely.
Do you or do you not possess a specialized weapon?
I do not.
You do not.
I do not. Well, it depends on how you define the word weapon.
The Iron Man weapon.
My device does not fit that description.
How would you describe
I
your
would describe
device?
it by defining it as what it is, Senator.
As?
It's a high-tech prosthesis.
Immediate threat here. Is that Justin Hammer?
Right leg up.
How did Hammer get in the game?
Arm up.
Justin, you're on TV. Focus up.
Okay, give me a left switch. Left is going to turn to the right.
It's working. We're safe. America is secure. You want my property? You can't have it. But I did you a big favor. I have successfully privatized world peace.
One of the sides of Tony I'm glad we got to see is his impulsivity after his near-death experience. He starts just, getting shit-faced, throwing shit around his room at a party. It's like we never see this side of Tony at all. But I'm really glad they showed it.
And if anybody, Pepper, doesn't like it, there's the door.
On to Thor, which is the most boring movie in Phase 1. There's a few redeeming qualities, but for the most part, it's a pretty skippable movie. We do get a little bit of Mjolnir lore, which I do personally like. And for the longest time, Hawkeye was my favorite Avenger, and he gets introduced in this movie.
I need eyes up high with a gun.
But by far the best part about this movie is, you guessed it, Natalie fucking Portman. Oh my gosh. Oh, she's the most beautiful damn girl in the whole world. V for Vendetta, that one Dior commercial or whatever. Bro, she is, oh come on, she's so fine. And probably the final redeeming quality is we do get a little bit of Loki and Thor lore when they're on Asgard. It really furthers their connection and really sets up Avengers, the first Avengers movie, in a nice way. You get to know that Loki's pretty evil, he tricks people, this and that, yada yada. On to Captain America, the first Avenger. Alright, something kind of strange about this movie is they photoshopped Chris Evans' face onto some little fucking kid, and he just looks so stupid and alien-like. That's one of the things I hate about this. Luckily, though, it's only in a few scenes, so we don't have to see it that often. While it is true that some of the other Avengers are incredibly brave, I feel like Captain America defines this the best. He is the best role model for what a superhero generically is. And I don't mean generically in a bad way. I mean that, when you think of a superhero, you think of Captain America. I want to say that I do love the World War II setting because it's something most audiences are extremely familiar with. And I really like that they introduced him in that war. On to my absolute favorite scene in this whole first phase. Right here.
Who the hell are you? The first of many. Cut off one head. Two more shall take its place. Hail Hydra!
Obviously, another thing that I love about this movie is how hot Peggy is. These pictures are not doing her justice at all, man. Wow, I mean, she's incredible. I wouldn't say she's Scarlett Johansson level, but I mean, she's pretty damn hot. The last thing I like about this movie is Steve Rogers' promise to Peggy to dance with her before they, split ways. And I think that the resolution in Endgame is just phenomenal. On to the bread and butter of this video. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to be moving quickly. These are all the things that I love about Avengers. The first Avengers film is the 10th highest grossing movie of all time. A lot of people on Letterboxd seem to really enjoy this movie, even though it's got a 3.6. The Steven Rogers boxing scene, the Black Widow interrogation scene, the 4-year hype-up of this movie, Loki as a villain, Loki's possession tactics, Thor's relationship with Loki, as well as how they chose the villain to be one of the most influential characters in Norse mythology.
What out, Cap?
I don't see how I can.
These guys come from legend. They're basically gods.
There's only one god, man.
Shakespeare in the Park?
Doth mother know you weareth her drape?
Sir, I'm afraid he's insisting.
Gross fine, Jarvis. I got a date.
When Loki finally gets captured.
Loki is beyond reason, but he is of Asgard. And he is my brother.
He killed 80 people in 2 days.
He's adopted.
when my wife, Black Widow, interrogates Loki. The tension being so thick between the Avengers when they're finding out S.H.I.E.L.D.'s misusing the Tesseract.
I'd like to know why S.H.I.E.L.D. is using the Tesseract to build weapons of mass destruction.
The tension between Cap and Tony, a prelude to the Civil War.
You know damn well why. Back off.
Oh, I'm starting to want you to make me.
Yeah. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
I know guys with none of that worth 10 of you. I've seen the footage. The only thing you really fight for is yourself. You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play, to lay down on a wire and let the other guy crawl over you.
I think I would just cut the wire.
Always a way out. You know, you may not be a threat, but you better stop pretending to be a hero.
A hero? Like you? You're a laboratory experiment, Rogers. Everything special about you came out of a bottle.
No!
Fight!
I like Hawkeye versus Black Widow because in Endgame, you know, she sacrificed. I like Thor versus Hulk because in Ragnarok, you know, they fight each other. I like the banter between Tony and Loki and how Loki can't possess Iron Man.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
Oh, I thought the beast had wandered off.
You're missing the point. There's no throne. There is no version of this where you come out on top. Because if we can't protect the Earth, you can be damn well sure we'll avenge it.
So like the Battle of New York, and I think it's pretty cool.
Right. Better clench up, Legolas.
And I will not be bullied by that.
I like when Tony sacrifices himself, or at least tries to redirect the nuke. In all honesty, this movie did everything it needed to do. It did everything perfectly for the time, and disliking this movie is genuinely a hot take, I feel like, because a lot of the people who know about this movie know about the setting that this was in, the timeline that this was in, 4 years of Marvel movies that led up to this one. And I really appreciate you guys watching this video, you guys listening to my BS, you know. This is one of the first big videos I've done where there's a lot of editing involved, so thank you for watching, and have a good day.